There are places in the world where silence is the loudest thing you'll ever hear. You can walk down an entire main street, past the peeling hanes and hollow windows, and feel the weight of every life that once filled this place with noise. But today, the silence isn't just eerie, it's expensive. Because right now, a strange new industry is quietly buying up ghost towns. And if you follow the money long enough, you start to realize these places aren't being rescued, they're being repurposed. The story begins with a man named Daniel. He's one of the last residents of a dying mining town in Nevada, population 11. He's lived here since the day he was born, back when the mines still roared like furnaces and the bars stayed open until sunrise. Now, the mines are sealed. The school is boarded. The bar is just a memory with a broken neon sign. Daniel stayed because this was home. But last year, he got a letter. An investment fund, one he'd never heard of, was offering to buy the entire town. At first, he laughed. Who buys a place without people? Who buys silence? But Daniel wasn't alone. Across the United States, in Spain, in Japan, even in the Australian outback, private investors have started purchasing entire abandoned towns. Some do it for novelty, some for survivalist compounds, some for film sets or influencer playgrounds. Others, more quietly, are speculating on a future where empty land, especially land with existing infrastructure, becomes more valuable than any bustling city block. And behind many of these purchases, you find a new class of buyer. Anonymous corporations with names so vague they sound like they're trying to hide in plain sight. Legacy properties, New Frontier Acquisition, Horizon Reserves. You look them up, and the websites say nothing. Just a logo, an email, and a promise of strategic rural redevelopment. When I reached out to an economist who studies land speculation, she told me something that stuck with me. Ghost towns aren't being bought for what they are. They're being bought for what someone hopes they might be someday. A logistics hub, a water rights grab, or a private testing ground for experimental tech, or maybe just a way to store money where no one is watching. But there's another side to the story, one that doesn't show up in investor reports, because every ghost town has at least one Daniel. Someone who stayed long after everyone else left. Someone who remembers what the laughter sounded like. Someone who can't put a price on the sound of their mother calling them home for dinner, carried down the same empty street where the silence now settles. When the investment fund arrived to close the deal, Daniel walked him through the old post office, the rusted swings, the house where his daughter took her first steps. The buyers nodded politely. They didn't see a town. They saw land, potential, a line on a spreadsheet. Daniel didn't sell, not because he believed the town would come back, but because he felt the truth that haunts every ghost town on Earth. You can buy buildings, you can buy land, but you can't buy the lives that were lived there. And yet the buying continues. Millions of dollars flowing into places where the last heartbeat faded decades ago. Some investors will flip the towns. Some will reinvent them. Some will let them rot until the land alone becomes valuable. And some, well, no one really knows. That's the strange thing about ghost towns. They may be empty, but they're never just empty. They're mirrors, reflecting what we value, what we discard, and what we're willing to let disappear when we stop paying attention. And as more of these forgotten places are quietly purchased, one by one, the question becomes harder to ignore. What happens when the world's ghost towns aren't abandoned, but owned? And what does that mean for the ghosts who are still alive?
Case closed on this chapter, but the world is full of unsolved questions. Join the investigation by subscribing now. I'll see you in the next briefing.